Everybody, we got a nice little random streak going in Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Sorry, what I meant to say is, everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Here we are. Blue Babby, LX2Z, BJXR. No comments. Regardless. What do you do on a Blue Baby run? Well, I've already used my my horseshoe in order to get Lazarus rags on that keeper random, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But Blue Baby is a unique character, and I say that, you know, the whole game is unique characters, but let's be honest, some characters are more unique than others. Like Maggie is just an idea plus a spacebar item. Blue Baby's got a different spirit. On an Eden run, maybe you start with 2 Spirit Hearts, and you're like, oh, this is actually worse than Blue Baby. Then you pick up an HP upgrade, and you get 1 Red Heart, and you go, oh, never mind, we're in a great spot now. Blue Baby has an HP-related problem that kinda never goes away. Now, what an accursed choice. That's real tough for me. So, let's start by discussing the inversion, okay? If we don't get a bomb, we'll be forced to take Cricket's head. How does that make me feel? Like I'm the luckiest boy in the world. We also have to crunch some numbers. You know, Cricket's head is good by itself, but there's a Tinted Rock that's associated with the D Infinity. We could use that Tinted Rock to maybe get a Spirit Heart, and then that plus Cricket's head is good as Blue Baby. Or we could use this to get a dime, and use that dime to maybe buy a couple of Spirit Hearts, and that's pretty good as Blue Baby as well. Or do we take the D Infinity? There's a lot of negatives, or a lot of risk, early, associated with the D Infinity. There's not a whole lot of risk associated with Cricket's head. It's a tough one. And this is why I'm doing the whole floor first. It's genuinely a pretty tough choice. Love to see that. You know, the dime is fine, but you know we got to get the Tinted Rock here. But then we have to choose. Or do we get both? I can't even remember. Maybe we get both. We don't get both. I've put my lot in with the D Infinity, and we'll be stuck with this here. And that's fine. If anything, I'm glad we stuck to our zany roots. Thank you, game, by the way, for giving us the choice. I appreciate it. I do. But I'm glad we went with what we went with. Now, getting anemia is not worth a whole heck of a lot. No doubt there. Everything's kind of turned out surprisingly well for us. We're going to be heading down to the next floor with 15 cents. Depending on the boss, I may not use the Chariot card. Save the Chariot for an attempt to maybe use it on the arcade on the next floor. But for now, I'm feeling like pretty okay. I'm going to use the Chariot card and the bomb. This is maybe the worst boss. Polydactyly. See you later. Okay. First floor went fine. Now, we're lacking something versus our Gwyneth Paltrow sliding doors analog right now. What are we lacking? Damage. For all the Zane that we got invested in there, we didn't really, we didn't at all improve our DPS. So we will, you know, suffer the ill effects of that. Hopefully not forever. But for a while, potentially. Okay. I'm still gonna do it. I use the D20 there. You know why? I want to get a charge. I want to get to D6s. I want to get to D100s. And I don't really care. I guess long term, I don't really care about what our stats are like on a D Infinity run, because I know eventually we're gonna get a D4 or a D100 that's gonna take us where we need to go. So I think that we've got all the tools laid out in front of us, and it's not even as zany as you would think. It's really just following a flowchart, and I know you're like, ooh, talk zany to me, daddy. Following a flowchart, that sounds exciting. Look, our whole life is a flowchart, alright? Rust Cole said time is a flat circle. I disagree. Time is a Gantt chart. The world is a Gantt chart. Do not steal that joke. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt, and have my life savings taken in a lawsuit filed by Billy Corgan. Guaranteed. Not a Gantt chart, okay? Here's our D4. We could have used the D20 after playing the blood bank a little bit, but I'm pretty glad I didn't, to be honest. Because I'm worried about our HP. Again, short term, anything could happen. Long term, I like where we're at. So we're going to D4, which has given us a D100. Do we like our stats? We don't dislike them much, but I don't love them. So let's get another reroll going here. Now I love them. And we'll follow up by picking up Jacob's Ladder. Now, don't shoot the messenger. But if the mood strikes me, I might just keep this run. We have 12 damage on the basement 2. 7 rate of fire. And I want to point out, lest you think your boy's lost his Zane, I gave up one of the best damage upgrades in the game to get to this point. So yeah, I'm feeling like I made like this is a zany decision that's worked out pretty well for me. We will take Buddy in a box temporarily. This is the kind of run as well that you kind of you wait for. Like if we had gotten this run from the D100 on the chest, we would be like, this is where we're stopping. The only difference is we're only on the 2nd floor here. Is it likely to get better? I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. No. I think it's very, very likely to get worse. And less fun. So I'm sticking with this. I'm actually hoping we fight Krampus and even get Krampus's head, just to give me the plausible deniability to get rid of our spacebar item. Hopefully productively. But this is like insanely great. I'm loving this run. I forgot what I was talking about mere moments ago before this truly started to pop off. So toothpicks, also very great. Sure, ceremonial robes, it's damage up, but bare minimum, it's also a free deal with the Devil Precedent. Dude, I'm feeling great here. Gwyneth Paltrow sliding doors right now. She's on the other run going, boy, I'm sure glad we took that damage upgrade. We have 6 damage already on the 2nd floor. Plus sin robes. Wow, we're really rolling. I'm so glad I didn't take the D100. Meanwhile, D100 run is like, yo, 5 rate of fire, 17 damage on the caves 1. It doesn't get too much better than that. Hope you guys are enjoying what's colloquially known as Blue Monday. I mentioned this in an Isaac episode earlier and I was mistaken. It's the 3rd Monday in January that's considered statistically the most unhappy day of the year, the most gloomy day of the year. Hope y'all are doing okay. I don't put too much stock in stuff like that. Here's the thing, I had never heard about, and we will take Book of Sin here, just to get rid of our D-Infinity, which did do us a great service, but we're moving on. I want to start by saying I am not a health professional. I'm not a mental health. I'm not a physical health professional. I sit in the chair and spout ignorance for a living. And I endeavor every single day for that ignorance to be a little bit more good-natured, but it's a learning process. But sometimes I do wonder, you know, if the existence of something called Blue Monday, it getting news reports and stuff like that, the fact that it's generating awareness, doubtlessly good. Speaking of awareness, I'm aware this is a 2nd secret room guaranteed. We need some keys. I don't know where I'm going with this. This is a bad take. What I was going to suggest is like, oh, does it enable sadness or does it make people... No, I don't think that's probably true. You gotta be real wary talking about this stuff because Twitch streamers have said some really, really ignorant stuff, you know? Depression doesn't exist. Why don't you just, you know, look at somebody else's life who's much more miserable and then smile a little bit more? Whenever you... And I have to be conscious of this myself because, you know, in this ecosystem, not just viewers, but also creators, you know, there's probably an increased propensity of mental health issues. I would say that's probably fair. Or at least maybe... well, I wonder about it sometimes. I don't know if streamers and YouTubers have an increased incidence of mental health related issues. I could see it, and I think there's something to be said about that. You know, you're dealing with anonymous feedback, a lot of which is mean-spirited. I think that could, you know, trigger some episodes and psychological misgivings and whatnot. But the other thing is, we also have the luxury of, you know, being able to talk about it, I guess. Whereas, you know, if you go work in the iron foundry, you know, Granddad is like, I'm not feeling so hot today. They're like, hey, suck it up, buddy. You know, we need to smelt this ore. So I think there's maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You got to be careful talking about it, especially as somebody who does not suffer from it. You know, you have to be understanding while simultaneously trying to be uplifting, I guess. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, you know, it's a prickly issue. Anyway, that's the danger of having an Isaac run, where you have 5 rate of fire and 20 damage on the 3rd floor. You start talking about things that maybe get a little, not dramatic, but a little weighty. You know, I'm not afraid of talking about this stuff. I don't see this as being controversial at all, as long as you're coming at it from the perspective of trying to be helpful, as opposed to trying to be, you know, oh, you're depressed, huh? Well, have you tried exercising? Speaking of which, have you tried exercise? No. I don't know, man. You gotta strike a balance that's somewhere between Tom Cruise jumping on a couch and your mom telling you, don't worry, sweetie, it's all gonna be okay. You know, somewhere in there probably lies the truth. If you're not familiar with that Tom Cruise reference, maybe it's before your time. I'm trying to reconcile that, you know. I was in my car at the grocery store the other day. Do I have any anecdotes? No, I don't have any anecdotes. Stop rubbing it in. Yo, tarot cloth. Straight up, I will take coupon. And I will reroll everything. And we'll try to get a better trinket. Not what happened. And then we'll try to get coupon to give us something for free. Yup. And we'll try to get coupon to give us something for free. And we'll try to get coupon to give us something for free.
Judgment.
What is happening? No! Okay, we didn't get hit, thankfully. You know, one of my favorite recent songs came on. It's called International Players Anthem by, I mean, it's not Outkast, but it's Andre 3000, Bun B, and Pimp C of Underground Kings. And Big Boy of Outkast fame as well, but billed separately. I don't want to get into the politics of it. You're going to say, NL, that's not a recent song. That song came out 12 years ago. I only just realized that. No, okay, I'll do it. And that's when I was a kid, I remember specifically, it's a very weird anecdote. It's a very Northernlion-y anecdote. I remember in the year 2004, I was browsing a little-known website called Rotten Tomatoes, and they said, we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the release of the 1994 film starring Winona Ryder, Steve Zahn, Ethan Hawke, and Janine Garofalo, Reality Bites. And I said, man, that's wild. Imagine watching a movie, and then 10 years later, you're celebrating its release. As a 16-year-old, that's the kind of thing that, you know, it's a little weird, because you're like, dude, what movie did I see when I was 6? Like The Lion King? That's basically it. We're on Depths 1, I'll pop it. So the idea, you know, like 10 years since a movie was released seemed crazy to me. It was like, oh my god, it's like ancient history. Put it in the Criterion collection, right? Now, 10 years ago was like 2009. What came out in 2009? Well, I'll tell you what didn't come out in 2009. The Dark Knight. That movie's 10 years old. Or it's 11 years old. I mean, I guess technically it's 10 because it'll be 11, you know, in July or something like that. But you get the idea. You know, the 2009 is like the release of District 9. The fact that that movie, there might be like 16-year-olds at home browsing Rotten Tomatoes going, wow, that's an old movie. I should really check it out. Is it one of the classics? You know, it's kind of mind-boggling to me. Because now, 10 years ago, it's not that it doesn't seem like a long time ago. You know, I'm a much different person than I was 10 years ago for sure. And my tastes have changed. But it's hard, not hard to reconcile. It's just a bizarre feeling, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The idea that once you reach a certain point in adulthood, 10 years and last year, not quite the same, but there's a lot less difference between them than there previously was when you were much younger. And I think it's, as you get older, I don't know what it is, but there's like a time compression. I don't even care about fighting these guys. That room sucks. Don't at me. Like when you're 10 years old, every month of your life is like another 1% added on. And when you're 30, it takes 3 times as much time to manifest that same kind of percentage change. Hope my math checks out on that one. I'm thinking that 10 times 3 is 30, but I don't know. It's been a while since I was in mathematics class. Let's put it this way. It's been more than 10 years, including college math. Certainly do not want any of those. And you know what? I don't really want that either. When I was a kid, like, even in like 9th grade, 10th grade, it wasn't that every semester had a different feel. It was like every month had a different feel. The periods of, and I think this is true for most people, although I've never asked them about it. If you had like a Picasso-style blue period, a Picasso-style brown period, let's not talk about the brown period. It's not that kind of YouTube channel. When I was a teenager, that was like on a month-to-month basis. Oh, this is the month that, I was studying for my final exams. This is the month where I, like, agonized over what Christmas present I was going to get for the girl I had a crush on. This is the month where I got, really into Of Montreal, and it goes on and on and on. Now, and this isn't a bad thing. I would even posit that this is a good thing about getting older, is you have a little bit more consistency in the narrative of your life, hopefully. But now I'm like, dude, there's like years are grouped together. Like my last distinct years was like 2010, my last year of college. That was my last college year. 2011, lived in university. Lived in Korea. Slight difference. Don't shoot the messenger. I already re-rolled this run 3 times. I'm not re-rolling it again. I'm happy with where we're at. And we don't have the guppy transformation. We could be throwing it all away. Plus, I'm having a heartfelt moment here. Please don't try to rip it away from me for no reason. 2012 was another big year for me. It was... I met Kate. I moved to Vancouver. Started doing the YouTube stuff full time. And then they start to blur together a little bit. Like 2013 and 2014 are like the same year. We lived in the same place. Settled into a work routine that worked for me. It's not that there weren't differences between the years, but those are definitely like a lumped in period. And then I think like 2015, 2016, 2017 were all kind of the same year as well. They're in the same period with one another. 2018 and 2019 so far have been in their own kind of distinct year. And what changes? I don't know, just your attitudes, your habits. I do love Guppy's head, but I'm going to keep rolling Dad's key here. They're gated by major life decisions and stuff like that. Should probably be saving our keys by using Dad's key, huh? Get a little closer to Bookworm. You get the idea is all I'm saying. When you get older, let's go. The major decisions in your life become a little bit fewer and further between. It's not like when you're a kid and, within like, it's crazy to think back. And I was like, man, how was I not stressed out like all the time when I was 16? Maybe 16-year-olds are stressed out, and I just was lucky for whatever reason. But, between like 16, 17, 18, depending on where you live. And let's throw 19 in there as well. No. We're very happy with Dad's Key Mega Satan. We've had too many Zane options on this run. You're like getting your driver's license, doing 11th grade, applying for colleges and universities, sometimes not just choosing where you're going to live, but what you're going to study and potentially what your career is going to be for the rest of your life, which is insane. Moving away, probably for the first time ever, from your parents to stay in a dorm or, off-campus housing or something like that. making completely, new friends in an area that's geographically distinct from where you grew up, potentially. And then, if you're in Canada, you're also reconciling being legally able to, essentially not only drink, but also vote. They take the kid gloves off at 18 or 19, depending on where you are. If you wanted to, you could legally start buying cigarettes. You could, depending on where you live, you could go buy a gun, and you can go to jail for like real big boy years, like for the rest of your life. It's a big period in your life. And if you're under that age right now and you're like, oh, that sounds stressful, it's not really. Like, mostly it's a lot of sitting in your room probably playing like Destiny 2. And then, every once in a while, someone will be like, hey, Slugger, let's go out for a driving lesson, You do it piece by piece. It's not like it's on one day you're going to knock out all this stuff. I'm just saying, as you get older, it's not like you don't have the same kind of stresses. They're just, different. Everybody's got different stresses in their life at my age, Some people got health problems, career problems, financial troubles. You get the idea. I'm just saying, the periods in your life, they become much longer. I don't know. It's a good thing if it's good for you, I guess. If you're going through a rough time and you're like, yeah, 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19 all blur together because it was a terrible time in my life, well, then that blows. But if you still enjoy playing Isaac and Slay the Spire and Minecraft and Super Smash Brothers, then hey, I'm going to call this the golden period. Let it go on as long as it's deemed appropriate. That's my 2 cents, man. I'm just here. If anything, I see some of these Isaac episodes as a liaison. Well, for people my age, which is not old people, but people on the cusp of getting older at least. It's a chance for somebody to speak frankly about what it's like, what I think about. I don't want to say what I'm going through, because it's not like I don't have that many hardships in my life right now, but simultaneously, the stuff that's on my mind. Because I feel like you don't, even if you got very close friends, you don't really talk about them, or talk about this that much. Like, I've never had a conversation with Malf or Josh about, like, what it means to be 30. I'd rather just spit it out into the void and see, see how other people feel about it. And then also an opportunity for, people perhaps a little bit on the younger side to, see what it's like. It's not all bad. I know the tendency when you're 17, you see a 30-year-old working a job he's not in love with. I'm not talking about myself. This job rules. It's like 1:30 and I've recorded 3 videos. You can't get these hours anyway. They would dock your salary like 40% if you wanted to work these hours. Depending on where you work, I guess. It's beautiful. I'm not bragging. I'm actually just covering up for the fact that it might have seemed like I had a little low job satisfaction. Not the case whatsoever. You have me confused with every other YouTuber. Okay, grab these luck up, please. Luck up. Thank you. No luck up. But, you see, you got a 30-year-old who's working at a button factory, and you're like, hey, bro, why don't you just quit and, go mountain climbing all day? Well, I get this appealing when you're younger. I saw my parents, and my parents are very young by, my generation standards. They're, like, in their early 50s. When I was a teenager, they were in their, well, depending on the ages that I was a teenager, they were in their early 40s or even their late 30s. And, they would take naps, wake up really early, go to bed really early. Might have just been a cover for them doing it. It doesn't really matter. It's a healthy adult relationship, I suppose. I don't really want to think about this anymore. Let's just get off of that topic. But anyway, I was like, man, that's stupid. I don't want to be older. Your body telling you that you have to go to bed when it's 10:30 p.m.? That sounds lame as heck. Now I look back and I'm like, that sounds awesome. Your body forcing you to go to bed? It, like, takes the guesswork out of it. Where, when you're young and you have more energy, you're like, well, I could go to bed, but I could also stay up and blah, blah, blah. By the way, what was I doing with my with those long nights? Was I improving myself? Was I indulging in my passions? No, mostly I would just go into my grandparents' VHS library and be like, I haven't seen Jurassic Park in a while. And then I would watch that until like 4 in the morning and be like, man, this is the life. Was it? Well, kind of. There were times when it was good. But you know, a 13-year-old sitting in his room watching Jurassic Park, that's age appropriate. If you want to see the flip side of that, go watch The Aviator, starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Howard Hughes. It's not as becoming when a 40 or 50-year-old man is locked in his projector room, chain smoking, watching, you know, Ben-Hur over and over. I'm just saying. As you get older, you embrace, or you should embrace what comes with age. Otherwise, you end up being one of those weirdo older dudes who is like, he's still got like frosted tips, even though that hasn't been the style for like 15 years. You know, like, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, he's like 55 years old and he has the Lance Bass haircut, and then you're like, why are you so tan? And he's like, no reason. Also, I have a house I'd like to sell you. And you're like, oh, that explains it. Look, there's a lot of software engineers that watch these videos. I don't think I got a huge real estate agent contingency. I'm not bad-mouthing real estate agents by any stretch of the imagination. I can't bad-mouth them. I don't interact with them. Not out of purpose, except, you know, don't really want to, for one, but, you know, you get the idea. I'm just saying. Very rare. I've had a lot of people come up to me, and this sounds braggadocious. I don't mean it like that, but, you know, at PAX, it's in Seattle, people will come up and be like, hey, I really like your videos. And I'll be like, oh, cool, what do you do? And they're like, I work at Amazon, you know, I work at Microsoft, I work at whatever. What I'm saying is that this is really the thinking person's channel. Very rarely do I have somebody come up to me and go, I'm a real estate agent. I just don't think there's much real estate agent YouTuber overlap in the gaming sphere. For now, thanks for watching. I don't know where I'm going. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. And follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion. I go live all the time. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!